Hey everyone, this is Cody Bourne. Today we're going to look at an Aragon DAO that we set up to manage a nonprofit organization. This one specifically is for the Blockchain for Social Impact Coalition, which is a nonprofit that is aimed to use blockchain technology in order to solve social problems. Why would you want to set up a DAO? This DAO that we've set up here is specifically to manage a set of funds that we're collecting as part of the nonprofit, but doing so in a decentralized way. And so the way you can kind of think about this is like a bank account, but many people actually own this bank account, and you can customize the rules in order to govern access to these funds. So if you go to aragon.org, you can just easily fill out this form. You can completely customize how you want your DAO to be set up. DAO, for those who don't know, it stands for Decentralized Autonomous Organization. Basically, it's a set of smart contracts that are deployed on the blockchain, and they are used to govern a set of rules of how this DAO can change, as well as how funds and assets are managed within the DAO. And so let's go to the Finance tab to make this a little bit more concrete. And so after you deploy your DAO, it will create this ENS name address for you, and it will populate this UI based off of the contracts that you've deployed. Each of them are a different set of contracts. Sometimes it gets a little stuck, so let's refresh it. So what you should see when we load the Finance tab is any assets that are owned by this DAO. So you can see here, I transferred a very small amount of Ether just to test it. And any amount that gets transferred into this DAO will show up here. I've also tied this DAO to an ENS name. So you can just take this Ethereum address right here, which represents the contract, and any funds that get sent to this address automatically will show up here and be manageable by the DAO. Here you can click here and say new transfer, and you can deposit manually. But this will basically be doing the same thing as if you were to send it directly to this address. And so what I've done is I've set up a BSIC, which is the organization name, .eth, which is the ENS name, and I pointed that to this. So if anyone sends any funds to bsic.eth, it will automatically get routed into this DAO. And so the nice thing about this is that it's actually managed by multiple parties. So if anybody wants to create a withdrawal, it'll actually have to be voted on by the shareholders. And so you can look here. If you go to voting, and let's say that you are a token holder that has assets here, then you can vote on different propositions. And if it receives a majority vote, which is obviously configurable, then that's something that will actually be enacted. So if you go to tokens, you can see these tokens here are different than the finance tokens. Finance is like actual assets, like real value assets. These tokens represents governance tokens of the DAO. So you can come up with whatever name you want. In this case, we came up with BSIC token. And so there are two holders that are governing the network. Each holder has a balance of 100 tokens, and so they have equal share in voting power over the assets here. And so you can configure it to be however you want. You could say it requires 2/3 majority in order to enact a proposal, or you could say it's just a single vote is fine. So that's all configurable. And then over time, if let's say a new person wanted to be a token holder, these two token holders could go and vote on adding a third member and could figure out exactly how they wanted to distribute the new funds. But this is all configurable via the Aragon setup. And the last thing I'll note is that the cool thing about this is that it supports any kind of ERC20 token. So you can deposit DAI, you can deposit Ether, you can even deposit CDAI, compound DAI, so that it can earn interest over time. So you can have, it really seems like a bank account where it's the assets, the underlying assets are being lent out, and you're earning, anywhere between 3 to 10% interest on the balance that's in here. So that can be really cool to see that grow over time with the pooled funds. So yeah, so that's about it. The blog post that you'll see below this is outlining how to set this up in the first place, and as well as to connect it to an ENS name. Thanks.